Hello everybody, this is part 2 of my series here of how of my conversion from Windows Media Center to KODI. And so hopefully you watched the first episode, or the first one, that basically talked about how to prepare and encode your media, get them ripped to your home theater computers, and the process that you need to follow for those, and some of the available software options that you can use for those. Assuming you've done all that, we can move on now to begin the process of installation configuration of KODI. So the first thing you want to do is go to the KODI website, which is just kodi.tv. Over on the right, you'll see this download option, or this button that says Download KODI. Click that, and then you'll be presented with this screen, which gives you the formats that are available for download. So here you can see the one we're going to want today is Windows, so we'll click this one, but you can see it's available for Linux, Macs, Android, other devices, Raspberry Pi, and so forth. So if you're watching this and doing it under a different software or a different operating system, then select the one that's applicable to you, but in my case we're going to do Windows. So this is the installer. We just click this button and download. I've already downloaded it multiple times, so I'm going to go ahead and just click it. Once it's done, you just basically double click it or run through the install setup and let this run. It's very straightforward. I'm going to pause it while this installs and then come back. There's no tricky aspects to the KODI installation, no tricky or weird questions you have to answer. All the configuration will take place after KODI's already installed. So we'll let this finish and we'll come right back. Okay, now it's installed, and you can see now we have the Completing KODI Setup Wizard box. And so if we want to run it, we just select this and click Finish. It'll take just a second for this to open up. Shouldn't take too long. I don't have the fastest computer here, so it might take a little longer than yours will. In the past, it's taken maybe 20-30 seconds for whatever reason for the first time to open this up, but it shouldn't really take that long to start. I will say though that if you're starting from scratch, you do have a couple options. I'm going to install this on Windows. Right now it's Windows 7. At some point I'll probably upgrade this computer to Windows 10, and I can still use the same KODI installation. But you do have a couple different options to choose from. If you wanted to, if you wanted to go away from Windows altogether, and by doing so you can get a little bit faster, quicker experience. I have a couple other devices running what is called OpenELEC, and then basically this is a Linux derivation. It's basically KODI on top of just enough Linux to be able to boot, and so it's very small, doesn't take very long to start, doesn't take very long to load, and it's pretty fast and pretty good. I really do like it. You would just go to openelec.tv and then click this button to get OpenELEC, and you can choose the ones that you want here. I would actually probably select the beta release, especially if you're on a Raspberry Pi, because I have one that's on a Raspberry Pi 3, and I had some issues playing back MKV Blu-ray rips on using this version, probably just due to some drivers or something like that. But I changed it up to the beta 3, and it worked just fine. The other option, which is a similar type program, is LibreELEC. And again, here you can see LibreELEC, just enough OS for KODI. So these are options where you can run this, and that would be the entire operating system that you'd want. So you can come here again, go to download, and then select whichever version you want that corresponds to your thing, whether it's generic build, Raspberry Pi, or one of the other versions down here. So just a suggestion, if you don't absolutely need Windows. For now, I'm going to leave Windows on here just because I do have shared drives that are on here, but on a couple of my other ones I've already moved all the way over. Alright, so this is what you're going to see on a basic installation of KODI on Windows, or even in some of the Linux or other appliances. This is basically the standard Confluence skin that you're going to see. So the first thing that we want to do here is I want to go over to this videos thing and go down to files. Okay, you'll see this little first run help that basically that tells you there's a tab off to the left or in some skins off to the top where you can get some more information. So click OK for now. We'll come back to this. All right, so you see I have two options here. This is Marvel's The Avengers, but that's just because it's in my Blu-ray drive. So I want to go down to this and click Add Videos. All right. So what I'm going to be presented with is this Add Video Source option box here. All right, I want to just go over to the left, right here and select Browse. Now, we have two different ways that we can add drives to the system. So in this particular box, I have two drives on which I've already copied, or I do store some of my ripped DVDs, Blu-rays, and TV shows. But I also have some on a secondary computer. My main one, actually, the one I have that uses my TV tuners, that has my TV tuners and all those kinds of things. So, if you do have some drives located locally, I could just click the C drive, and I would go down. I would just go up because it's easier. Go to Video, and then let's say I want to add this Movies one. So this is going to show me what movies are on there. I don't need to select any specific movie now that I'm in that particular folder. I'm just going to go to the right over on OK and click OK. Right? Now you can see over on the side it shows that. I want to add a couple more. I want to click Add, and then I'm going to go back up to Browse. Okay, so I do have other movie things in here, but for the sake of time I'm just going to show you one local, and then I'm going to show you how to add a TV or another file that's on a different computer. So in the first video I mentioned that because I had a couple other devices that were using OpenELEC and are not Windows based, I had to set these two devices up with static IP addresses. If all of your devices on the network are running Windows and you still have them set up under a work group, you probably can just go here and then find all those devices. Nothing's going to come up for me because nothing's nothing's in there. So what I'm going to need to do here is go Add Network Location, and then from here I'm going to keep it Windows Network, and then what I'm going to do is for the server name I'm going to put the IP address of the other computer. So 192.168.1.26. Okay, so I'm going to go here, I'm going to go down to Shared Folder, and in this case I know it's movies_1. Alright, so what I had to do was I had to go and I had to set up a specific user ID on each of the computers. I'm going to exit out and then just kind of show you. So I'll go to the control panel, and if you go to Add or Remove User Accounts, from here you can see that I have a couple ones. This is the main one, and then this is the HTTP user account that I set up so that when I try to connect up to the drives on this computer, I can just use this user and the password I've assigned with it to connect up. And I've used the same user ID on the other computer as the secondary user just to make it simple. And just a brief tutorial. I hope everybody basically understands how to share something. But if not, you can just select the file. Say I want to, there's nothing in this one, but say I wanted to share this folder, I would just right click and go down here to Properties. You'll see a tab here called Sharing. And then what I want to do is probably click this Advanced Sharing. And then I want to say I want to share this folder. And I can name it whatever I want. I'm going to say Test Movie. And then the one thing I need to do is I need to assign permissions. So this is by default set up for everyone. So I'm going to just say I'm going to add, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, remember that HTTP user account, I'm going to select that. I'm going to click check the name, and it's going to recognize that it's okay. Now I'm going to go down. So what I want to do is I want to allow that account to have full access. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click Apply here. So now you can see this change down here, and it says main movie state shared, and it's shared with whomever. So now anytime I need to, if I ever wanted to connect up to this folder, I would be able to basically just connect up to it through using the name test movie under the IP address of this device here. Anyway, so back into here. So what I need to do, because I had that user ID, oops, you can make the changes in here. I'm kind of mixing between mouse and keyboard, but I can type in here HTPC user, all right, and then I just type in my password and I click OK, and now it's going to show this location, right? So if I wanted to do that for another device, I could, and I could just select 192.168.1.26, and I could say movies 2, right? And then HTPC user, and then okay, and you can make that username whatever you want it to be, but that was just a seemingly easy name, and I could kind of track it from there. So I would suggest while you're in here, just add all of your network locations, whether it's for movies or TV shows. All they're going to do is add a new share. You don't have to add them to the list. So right now all I've done is add them here. You'll see I have movies 1 and movies 2. I'm going to click this movies 1, go over here again. I clicked in the drive. I can see all the movies. I go over to right and I click OK, and now you can see movies 1 there. Not movies 2 though, just movies 1 for now. So I'm going to click add. Then I'm going to go up browse, and then back down here to movies 2, and then click OK. So now I have all 3 of the movie drives. There's others on my system, but I'm just going to go with these now. So I'm going to call this my movies. All right, I can call this whatever I want, and then I'm going to select OK. All right, so now here this box pops up. It says this directory contains. It's important here to specify what type of information is contained within here. So you can see the movie database, the TV database, or it's got local information only. So in this case, I know it's movies, so I'm going to say I'm going to keep it this, and then it gives me some options down here. You can just leave those as they are, and then I'm going to click OK. All right, now it's going to say, do you want to refresh information for all items within this path? I'm going to select yes, and this is going to take some time to run, so I'll come back once it's done. Okay, so that finished. It took about 10, 11 minutes, but that's only because in some of those folders I probably have a lot. So depending on how many videos, movies, TV shows, whatever you have in those folders, it's going to take that long. So it's going to take a little time. So now I've created one for my movies. And again, remember I mentioned before that I currently had in the previous video that I set up my TVs and movies into 2 different folders on each drive. So in this particular case, I create one just for my movies, and I'm going to create another for TV shows. So again, same process, add a video source. I'm going to go over to browse. I'm going to go down here to movies, or the C drive, but this time I'm going to go here to browse for the Monk. And so I can see OK, and then I'm just going to add this one for now, and then I'm going to say my TV DVDs. Okay. And now I'm going to click OK. Now here, the one thing we do want to change is we want to change the scraper. So previously we used the movie database, now we're going to use the TV database. Just leave these the way they are, click OK. And again, we're going to want to do this. Click yes again, and then I'm going to let this run and we'll come back. Okay, so that one's done. Now you can see I have my TV DVDs here and my movies. There may come a time if you add a new drive, change drive letters, maybe take a drive out or something, where you're going to need to make some changes to these types of things. And so one thing you can't do is you can't just go on here and click it and then make some changes, because all this is going to do is give you a listing of the files that are contained within those folders. So what you want to do here is select either one, doesn't really matter. You want to hit the C button on your keyboard, which will pull this up, and then you can click Edit Source, which will take you right back to here. So from here you can just go up and add, and then you can do the same. So for either of those two, it will be the same. So we're going to go back now to the home screen. Okay, and so one of the things you're going to see here now is you see movies, and you can see, and then my TV shows. It's added those 2 things into the options. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is I want to go here to System and Settings. And as I mentioned, this is the default skin install called Confluence. I don't like this one. I want to change it, so I'm going to go click on Appearance and then over here to Skin. Alright, by default only two skins are included, Confluence and Retouched, so I'm going to go over here to Get More. And you can see you have some different ones that you can choose from here. You can play with these, see which ones you like. I've looked at a few, and my favorite so far is Titan. So I'm going to click on Titan, and it's going to install. I'm going to come back while this is going. It should just take a minute or two to install, and then once it's done, we'll come back. Okay, the installation's complete. Now it asks, do we want to keep the skin? We're going to say yes. And now we are presented with the new Titan interface versus the old Confluence. Alright, one of the things that I like is I'm going to immediately change the theme. I like the modern rounded. So instead of the squared, as you'll see in the background here, it's just gonna round it off and make it a little bit nicer. The other thing that we'll do now is we'll go back to the home page and give it a second. See, it's building the shortcuts and menus. Alright. So now you'll see, here's our movies, here are our TV shows, and by default it adds a couple other menu options here: music, pictures, YouTube, add-on browser, videos, and settings. Alright, but at the very top, first we're going to do is you see at the top, right next to the KODI icon up there, it says degrees Fahrenheit, and we're missing the temperature from there. So let's go set that up. So we'll want to go in here, go to settings, and then we're going to want to come down here to where it says weather. Alright. Service for weather information, you can see at this point is none, so nothing is installed. And there's no default options, so we're going to have to go to Get More. And you can see we have just a few options available to us. I use Yahoo Weather. Alright, that's installed. Now we need to come down to Settings. And we need to set up a location, because at this point right now it's not going to provide any data because it has no idea where we are. So we're going to click on location 1, and then we're just going to type in where we are. So I want this to be St. Louis, Missouri. Alright, so I'm going to click OK, and it'll confirm here in a minute. Alright, so now it's just going to ask me to confirm. I'm going to use the first one. You can see you can add up to 5 locations. I'm just going to use the one. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Now if I go back to the home page, you'll see now it shows the weather now. And if I go over here, it's added a new menu option for weather. So if I click this, it'll now show the general overview, forecast for the week, and some other information that you might find useful. And so that's set up. And so the next step is, because this is kind of a while it does have drives installed with some movies and TV shows ripped directly onto this computer, all my TV watching essentially through live TV is done on a different computer. And so in the past on Media Center, I could potentially set this up so that I could read the recordings onto this device from the other one. And so we're going to make some changes here. This one, KODI allows you to do something that I thought was really cool, and I was really impressed by its ability to do this. So we're going to set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to go into Settings, and we're going to want to go into this Add-ons. All right. And now we're going to want to go to stay in My Add-ons, because it's in there by default. It's installed by default, but it's not enabled. So I'm going to go down to PVR Clients. So in my case, as I mentioned earlier, my other computer is still running Windows Media Center as its front end. I have 4 tuner devices there, and that's the computer on which I record my live over-the-air television. So because I'm using Windows Media Center here, what I'm going to do is I want to come back to this PVR WMC client, and you can see over to the right it gives you the version number, author, and then it says disabled. So I'm just going to click it, and I'm going to go enable. All right, so it's now enabled, but we also want to go to this box here that says configure. And so what thing I need to do here is I need to update the IP address with the correct IP address of that other computer. Just the main IP address. It doesn't have to be any specific folder. So I'm going to say 192.168.1.26. All right. Click OK. Gives you a number of options. I leave the port number the same. I can do this one in case it goes to sleep or something. A request from here will wake it up. Store resume watch status on server, just leave that. That's by default. Leave the other stuff default, and then just go down here and click OK. Alright, so now this is basically enabled and configured. But before we can do anything with TV, we need to go back and make one additional change. In the settings menu, which again, if I from the main page, I would just go to settings and then settings here. I want to go to this live TV. You can see this option here. This is also, while it's installed and ready, it's not enabled. So I'm going to click this box to enable it, and at the top you'll see it's going to do some work to pull in channel listings and that kind of stuff from my other computer. Alright, see, there you go. If you don't see this information, then something didn't go quite right. Make sure that you've got the right IP address in there. Make sure in the PVR WMC, make sure that you've got that enabled, and then come back and try this again. Alright, there's other options. From here, I'm just going to leave it for now. At some point I'll probably come back in here and I'll adjust it, because I'll come into the channel manager, because it shows a lot more channels than actually come through and over the air. So I can come in, like for this one, for instance, I don't have any idea what this is, but I don't want it to be active. So I can just go here and I can do that for these other ones. CTN, I can go back, I can make this inactive, and if I want to do that, I can just apply changes now. And so what it'll do is it won't show that in my channel listings anymore. Right? I have quite a few channels, and I just, I'm going to go through and get rid of quite a few of these, but you get the gist of how to do it. All right, so I come back here, and if I go to the main page again, now you'll see there's a new box here that says Live TV. All right, click the Live TV button. You'll see that at the bottom, some options: guide, channels, recordings, timers, and search. So I'm going to go to the guide, and you can see this is my TV viewing guide. In Windows Media Center, even if this were to pop up, because I didn't have a tuner located within this computer, none of this would make any difference. However, one of the cool things that that PVR WMC add-in will let you do within KODI is now I can watch live TV on this device, or on all my devices, through the main Media Center computer I have that has my 4 tuners. So I'll just click on Crime Watch Daily, and then from here I have some options. If I wanted to record it, I could find similar or cancel, but you just want to click switch, and it's got okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. You saw the weird computer voice. Apparently there's some sort of storm watch or something here, or flood watches. But no matter. The point is that you can watch live TV on this device, even though I have no tuner in here, which I think is really cool. And I could also, again, start to record programs from here. So I can schedule a recording on my other TV through this device, which, again, I think that's really cool. So I'm going to go back to the main page. I could also look at my channels, or I can view my recordings just like I could before. So I was really excited about the live TV, and it actually works pretty well. Some shows work better than others, but that's basically a byproduct of the speed, the strength of the signal to my antenna. It doesn't have anything to do with the talk of the two computers between. And I do have a fast intranet in my house. Everything's gigabit, but I don't think it really matters. It doesn't need to be that fast for any of this stuff. So, okay, so that's basically the general setup to get back even better than where we were in the under Windows Media Center. But I do want to make a couple more changes. So you'll see down below that little RSS feed down below. I don't like that, so I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to come back here to Settings. I'm going to go to Skin Settings. All right, I'm going to say no to this for now, and I'm going to say no to this for now. All right. So I'm going to go and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say Show RSS feeds. I'm going to turn that off. So now if I go back, you can see on the main page now all I have at the bottom here, oops, is this option for shutdown. And for some reason it's really weird. You have to do it on certain things or it gives you some more information. So if I go to add-on browser and I go down, you can see I have settings. I can quit, go back to the Windows desktop, I can shut down, or I can reboot. All right. So that's nice, that goes away. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is that we do have some other options that we can use here as well. So as I mentioned, we don't have cable or satellite, we use free over-the-air TV, which basically just gives us the basic television channels. My daughter does really enjoy HGTV, and one of the things I found out is here when you do the add-ons, it's got some really cool add-ons. So I'm going to go install from repository, and then I'm going to go down here to video add-ons, and you'll see there's a ton of video add-ons that you can add in here. And all I want to do, oops, what just happened here? Okay, so all I want to do, I want to go down. Alright, so I mentioned HGTV because there's an add-on browser for HGTV. So if I click this and I install it, it's going to take just a second to install, not very long. And you can do this with others, right? You can see that there's a bunch of other channels that are available in here. But I'm just going to show you with HGTV because that's just the one we like. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go back, okay? So now I'm back to the settings menu and I want to go up here to skin settings, and then I want to go down to this where I go configure shortcuts and then edit menu shortcuts. Alright, I'm going to click this option, and what you'll see over to the left here is a listing of all of the buttons that are on that main page. Right, you can see live TVs, movies, TV shows, music videos. Right, so some of these things I'll never use. Music videos, never going to use. If I want to delete that, I can just click it and click delete. Right, music, maybe I'll add. I don't know. I could come back and do it later if I wanted to, or edit this. Weather, YouTube, pictures, all that kind of stuff. Those are things I might add. Add-on browser may or may not need to be there. I can always get back to the add-on browser through settings, and then videos I don't necessarily need either. But you get the point. So for now, I deleted the one to show you how that. I'm going to add a different thing. Now I'm going to add another button. I just clicked add, and now this brings me to the item that I want to add to this menu. Okay, so I want to go down here to video library, and then I want to go down here to video add-on, and then you can see here is my HGTV. So if I click this, it's going to get directory listing and show me some of the available shows that it has. So I want all of it. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click create menu item to here because that just shows me all of them. So now over to the left you can see is HGTV, and if I go back to the main screen, alright, you'll see it's adding, it's writing shortcuts, and here we refreshed, but now there's HGTV, right? So now I can stream what I assume to be those shows or those episodes that are available on their website to stream for free, which is really cool because now we usually watch it in Netflix, but now we can watch some current ones through this method, and it works pretty well actually. We have pretty good internet coming into our house, 100 megabit, and so we get very high quality, and the picture quality is very good. So, but one other thing I want to say here is that I want to go into my movies. I want to show you the movies and the TV shows, but I just want to show you the layout. The default layout, I'm going to select all movies, is just this list option right here. I don't like that, so I'm going to go hit the left arrow or the left arrow key, and it brings up this menu option on the left. So I want to go here for view. All right, now you can see there's going to be a bunch of different options here. You can choose whichever one you like the best. I like this one at the bottom called Netflix. For the movies, anyway. All right, so I'm going to click Netflix, and you can see now it's changed. So now I have just a listing of all the movies that I have in my queue. I will say too that sometimes what you may have is you may end up with a movie that does not import with the right name. Maybe you see it, but it clearly doesn't look right. I was trying to find one here. Here we go, Batman the Dark Knight, right? Clearly the Batman the Dark Knight is a real movie, and if I click this it would play the movie, but if you can see from the description it says a fan-made stop-motion film about Batman made with action dolls. Okay, not the right one. So I want to press the C key and then this will bring up this menu, and I want to go to movie information, and then I'm presented with this. Now I'm going to go left and I'm going to find refresh. So I'm going to click refresh and it's going to query the movie database. All right, so this is where you really need to know what the real movie name is if it's not correct. So I know it's this one, The Dark Knight. So I'm going to click this. Now it's going to import and update that information, and you can see now it does show the right description and it's got the right fan art, and so that's great. Okay, so I think we're good here. I'm going to show you TV shows. Again, I just want to show you how they interrupt here or come in. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go view list, and I'm going to say for some reason Netflix is an option here, but it doesn't always update. Okay, so it updated this time. So I still like the Netflix option. I go to Monk, and then you can see I've got all my seasons available right here. I do like the list view. I could change this if I wanted, but I do like the list view for here. So when I go in now, I have all of my individual episodes and the descriptions associated with those episodes, and that's all the effort of ripping each individual episode into a separate file and then sorting them all into seasons and then that main folder. All right, so sometimes you'll get into a situation where excuse me, a movie may not import correctly, or it may not have the right name, and either the movie or the TV database scraper is going to ignore it. It doesn't tell you which ones it skips, but in order to do that, we have to go find this. We have to go find the this repository. There's a thing called missing movies, and so we're going to go through here and we're going to go down here. Oops. And what we're going to do is we're going to find this one, right? So if I went too fast there, I just want to say, so you go to add-ons, right? You go to settings, add-ons, install from repository, video add-ons, and then go down to the M's and find missing movies. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to click install. All right. So now it's the option is enabled, and so I can click this and I can click open, and now it's going to ask me which do I want to look at, missing movies, or TV shows, episodes, sources, export, and all that kind of stuff. So what you want to do is when you're done, you want to run this, and this is probably going to take some time to run, but you'll get the whole point here. So there's some that I have that aren't in here. These are, I don't even know what these are, but you can see some things are missing, and it's probably because the names are not correct. And so remember I mentioned the T01 after that. If I went in and I change that one, say Brothers without the underscore Grimsby, and then remove the underscore T01, it would find it again. But what I need to do in order to do that is, before I can fully incorporate that, because by just changing the name it doesn't do it, what I need to do is go back into the movies or TV section, click so in my version now in the Netflix view it's not left, it's up, and then I want to select the option to update library. And so what this is going to do is rescan all the folders, and it will hopefully add any of those movies that were originally missing from the list or from your data. And so if you want to, you can keep doing that a couple times, and you should be able to get them all. And so that's my basic setup, and to me that's pretty good. I know there's a ton of other add-ins that you can put in there that I haven't even scratched the surface of, but this gets me to a home theater computer that's basically, I think, way better than even Media Center. It took me forever to figure this out, and so that's why I wanted to make this video, to kind of hopefully make it easy for everybody else to at least get to the point that I'm at. There are a bunch of other add-ons that you can get either through the add-on manager here. You can choose the different repositories, or you can even download add-ons and install them through a flash drive or a USB drive or something like that. So anyway, hope this is helpful. Again, if you have any comments, suggestions, or improvements or things that I may have missed, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks.